All right, so Jay, we got the verdict here in your case. Is that more important to read than your statement from the police chief? What do you think?
I think the statement's a little more important to read because, one of the things I'm doing here is I'm fishing for whistleblowers within the system.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're hard to find.
Well, somebody's out there has got to have some stuff. I believe that DCYF is scouting to take children, especially after watching the Save the Babies documentary and the Save Baby Cyrus documentary, and reading about this Mel Gibson thing that he's going to do, and the Ukraine stuff and the Biden connections with Ukraine, and all of these people involved in government, they all worship the Biden campaign. All the government employees are employee unions, the teachers unions, these state worker unions, especially like the state workers are two different people. Like the guys that plow the road, they give their campaign donations to mostly Republicans, the working class government parasites, and then the desk jockey ones, the lawyers, the supervisors, the people in DCYF, for example, almost all of them, the school teachers, they donate very heavily to the Democrat campaigns.
Sure they do.
And you just go you just go to the courthouse and you just go to the prosecutor's office and you can see that there's like Biden stickers on cars. So if I see someone with a Biden sticker on their car and they're going to their car, I'm like, why are you supporting a pedophile? What's wrong with you? Are you a pedophile? Oh, they get really pissed when you start asking them that question. So anyways, So
you've got a letter from the town police chief from the town you live in?
This is an affidavit, not a letter. This was an affidavit that was filed in family court, Hillsborough Family Court, Hillsborough, New Hampshire.
This is what got the charge dropped against you?
This is what got the
contempt
order dropped against us. So this was a motion to intervene, a motion to correct, and this was in a motion to vacate the contempt charge that was done by the Henniker chief of police, and this is part of his affidavit. I got this in a right to know request, and I only got a couple pages of it. I didn't get the entire thing. This is not.
So he didn't give this to you.
I got this in a right to know request.
Oh, interesting.
So that's all I'm going to say.
Did you ask him to write this to the court?
No.
Okay.
No, no, not at all. But he saw something was wrong.
Right. Okay.
This guy's a good family man, and he wants the world to be a better place for his kids, and he understands what happens when people lie, and this explains lies.
How did he end up as a police chief? That's crazy.
The dude's got a stellar reputation in town. I have not heard anybody say a bad word about this guy.
That's amazing. You lucked out, because a lot of these guys are total thugs.
Yeah, because you just go to Concord, or even Ware's gotten a lot better. Ware's got a new police chief, and he's got a good reputation with the people of Ware currently. I haven't heard anybody, but the people of Ware, and just with the former administration, this is Ware, New Hampshire, a town just south of Henniker. They were very upset with the chief of police there.
More than once.
Because he literally created, millions of dollars worth of liabilities because the Ware Police Department kept on getting sued for the same pattern of activity.
Total corruption.
Yes. So on March 29th, Jay Noone, father of child at issue. This
is last year, right?
Yep. Contacted me via phone and offered to meet at a local restaurant in an attempt to engage the family after DCYF was unable to develop any kind of dialogue with them. I agreed to meet him. This is after he had left a business card at my place and said, please call me.
Okay.
I thereafter met with Mr. Noone, Mrs. Spalding, and both children, and was able to observe the familial interactions as well as the behaviors and appearances of the children. Following my meeting, I discussed the outcome with DCYF caseworkers and attempted to explain the parents' perspective and my observations of the children. I relayed that the children's clothes were clean and that they both had clean faces, ears, and noses. Additionally, the baby's scalp was clean and clear, and the 2-year-old was energetic and active. Like most 2-year-olds, as parents of 2 and a police officer of over 29 years with experience in child neglect and abuse, it was clear to me that these children were not neglected. I relate.
I mean, if you had to just stop reading there, that'd be all you'd need, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There
you go.
When I relayed my observations to the caseworkers, they commented in a negative manner about the rambunctiousness of the 2-year-old, who several times exited the restaurant. Now, these social workers don't have kids.
Right.
In fact, the one social worker has stolen children. She has adopted children.
Wow.
She's a foster mom, and she's married to a woman that works in the Department of Corrections for the state of New Hampshire.
Jeez.
These are just career parasites.
Right.
A manner about the rambunctiousness of the 2-year-old who several times exited the restaurant, again, acting normally for a 2-year-old. Note that the child was in no immediate danger upon exiting the restaurant, as it opens into a very large flat patio and not into the parking lot or roadway. So this was in the motion for a contempt. She basically wrote that the kid was like running around unattended, and this was the reason that, you know, they needed to interview my child or put me and my wife in a prison, you know, in a jail cell for not doing that.
Just to clarify, the DCYF agent used this guy's statement about...
No, this is rebutting her statement. The DCYF...
How would she know that your kid was running around in a restaurant?
They were watching us.
Oh.
Yeah, they were at the restaurant watching us. We weren't aware of that. Yep, that's very creepy. Anyways, let me go back here. The patio is at least 12 foot wide, 24 foot long, perhaps even longer. This door doesn't exit directly into the parking lot or street. The father was paying close attention to the child and continuously and immediately brought her back inside. Now, we were in there for like an hour and a half talking to this guy at this meeting.
It's a long time for a kid.
Basically, they just run around. And what we go to there like once a month, and when we're done eating, me and the kids will go outside, and this like place they got like it's a maple syrup operation they have there. It's pretty cool. We're just we just go run around the property. It's a big, nice property. This is the Intervale Pancake House, Henniker, New Hampshire. Great family restaurant. Obviously, if I had believed the child was in danger, I would have stepped in, but I did not, as the child was being appropriately cared for. I later attempted to put this in perspective for Attorney Baker.
That's a DCYF attorney?
That's an attorney from DCYF, and I want to know about this attorney. I want somebody that is to whistleblow on this attorney. These people are extremely corrupt. Many of us who had worked with the public have had the opportunity to meet individuals and families who share a variety of beliefs. It is not important that we agree with their beliefs, but it is important that we consider and respect them. Mr. Noone and his wife share a belief system that impacts their perspective on government and law enforcement. Unfortunately, when I relayed their beliefs and the need to be sensitive to their beliefs to the DCYF caseworkers, they dismissed the family values as a laughing matter. This is unprofessional, is unproductive, and harmful to an amicable resolution of this matter. Instead of
That's not what they want.
Right. Yeah, they want to escalate.
They want to steal kids.
They want to use their tanks against people. They want to use their SWAT teams. Instead of taking the time to understand his family's lifestyle and adjust to their approach for the best interest of the children, the caseworkers have refused to cooperate or in any way modify their approach, despite my urging and years of experience. Upon review of the March 28th order, in an attempt to discuss the order with DCYF, I was told that no off-the-record conversation with DCYF would be permitted. This is very concerning to my agency, who is engaged to work with DCYF openly to provide background information and insight, and now has to worry that all that information provided will be used or manipulated in court. While no one in this agency recalls using the term anti-government, lookouts, dangerous, or compound, those words have now been attributed to my officers and department in a court order. Information erroneously provided by DCYF.
Is he saying DCYF made those allegations based on what they're saying his officers were claiming?
That's what DCYF said in their affidavit.
And he's saying that's not true.
He's saying that's not true.
Wow.
The social worker, Melissa Coombs, who has adopted children, has said that Henniker PD told her that we were a free stater, anti-government, dangerous, and live on a compound with lookouts. And this is what they put in an ex parte hearing into the evidence, into this family court.
To get the order.
To get the order, where I can't even defend myself.
Right.
Because I don't even know what's going on.
And he's saying that's all false.
Yes. It is troublesome that these words will be put into a court document when they could easily inflame the situation and no way to help it.
I'm curious. I mean, I don't know enough about, how these ex parte orders work, but are you under oath when you tell a judge what you're saying? So this woman lied to a judge under oath.
Yes. This says, I swear under oath. There's a notary stamp on it. Yes. This is straight up perjury.
That's perjury. Okay.
Yes, very much. And she's got a whole bunch of parasites within DCYF, like this attorney Baker, this attorney Ross McLeod. You know, these scumbags are totally, you know, taking the burden on for this other scumbag named Melissa Coombs. And they are, you know, and there's a conspiracy to deprive me of my rights and my family going on here.
Oh, I bet you they're not going to do a damn thing about this perjury either. I bet you can take this evidence right into the you know, state cops and they'll do nothing.
Probably.
Or the attorney general. They'll do absolutely nothing.
Yes, there is a clear
but
lack.
You should get them on the record doing nothing. You should try it and see what happens.
Well, we're gonna. Yeah. And we already have a little bit. There is a clear lack of understanding of how these terms could inflame and offend people involved. On April 1st, my agency accompanied DCYF to the family's residence for an attempt to conduct a home assessment per the court order. It should be noted that this was not planned with my agency. Prior to this attempt, I had notified DCYF that the family conveyed to me multiple times it would not consent to an assessment. And you don't have to do this assessment. Actually, you have to sign a form giving them consent to do this assessment.
I bet you do. You got to contract with them to get them into your life even further.
Despite these notices, DCYF insisted on conducting unannounced visits at the Noone residence. Surprisingly and consistently with my prior interactions or my prior contacts with Mr. Noone advised the officers in DCYF he would not consent to the assessment by DCYF. This thing he's talking about is on my YouTube channel, Jay Noone. You can go see the video of, I believe it says Noone versus DCYF or DCYF Goons. On April 3rd, Mr. Noone contacted me and stated he would allow myself and or 2 other specific Henniker police officers to conduct the assessment and interview with the child. I relayed this directly to Attorney Baker, who stated, Henniker PD is not qualified and there is no compromising. Despite the fact that this is contemplated and permitted per the court's March 28th order. Now, this is he's quoting the order here. A police officer, juvenile probation, and parole officer or child protection service worker shall enter the premises of the child in furtherance of the Department of Health and Human Services investigation to assess the immediate safety and well-being of the children.
So it's good enough for the judge, but not good enough for DCYF.
That's correct. It is ludicrous to me that my lieutenant, who is a biological mother of 2 children, a stepmother of 2 children, has extensive training in interviewing child victims of sexual domestic violence, has participated in countless forensic interviews with victims of abuse in her 17-year career, is not qualified to conduct a home assessment arising from an incident of a 2-year-old being left unattended in a vehicle. On April 5th, DCYF requested another unannounced home visit for the following day. Knowing that it would likely be futile, I inquired as to whether they knew if Mr. Noone's position on the assessment had changed since their last interaction. DCYF was seemingly disappointed with my continued interest in the matter and my advising that Mr. Noone would, however, be amendable to my officers completing the assessment. I was not attempting to negotiate some different resolution, but trying to resolve the matter without causing unnecessary upset. On April 6th, Mr. Noone contacted me via phone, asking to meet with me regarding the order, consenting to HPD conducting the home assessment. I explained to Mr. Noone the position of DCYS as of this writing. 2 weeks the position of DCYF. Period. As of this writing, 2 weeks have passed since my last correspondence with anyone from DCYF. Notably, if the concern is for the welfare of the children, then any immediate intervention, investigation regarding the living arrangements in the home should be paramount. Therefore, if the family is agreeable to Henniker Police Department conducting an inspection, then why is DCYF not permitting this immediate inspection? DCYF's position is nonsensical. Not going into this home if DCYF actually believes that the children are neglected is clearly not in the best interest of the children.
Right. So he's saying that if it were actually their interest to help these kids, if they're truly in danger, then assuredly having some cops who know how to take care of kids, in this lieutenant's case, in there would be better than nothing. Yes. And they're saying, no, it's either our way or the highway.
Waiting for the contempt proceedings to play out will take time, and time is of the essence. If the division, he's talking about DCYF, truly believes these children are unsafe, there have been suggestions that my agency would not do as thorough as an assessment as DCYF, or are somehow less experienced in doing so. While I disagree, I would propose that DCYF provide some sort of guideline as to the areas in which they would like to review, inspect, to avoid any failure of the officers in doing so. And like I said, this is incomplete. That's all I got there. But that is what got the motion to vacate removed on April 27th, 2022. And the very next thing that happened on April 27th, 2022 is a warrant was issued for my wife's arrest.
Oh, how convenient.
How convenient.
Yeah.
And these agencies work together and they cover up. How convenient that we have a career Karen who has a fishy relationship status, based on what we can tell, that worked in the Merrimack County Prosecutor's Office. And these
still does.
and these DCYF agents work in that office, and they communicate with that office. And I think that there is a conspiracy going on here to harvest children. And I'm looking for whistleblowers. And also, if you're a lawyer or an attorney, or you're somebody that knows one that is got some teeth, that is a pit bull that wants to go after these scumbags in New Hampshire. In New Hampshire, I don't care where you are, because you can just reference. But we need to straighten this out. And this is all of this is happening because the government has the ability to just print up money out of thin air. And, and Ian, they're going after you because you were giving people the ability to get away from the fiat dollar, with the crypto 6. And this is where all of the, energy of the state comes from, the fact that they have the exclusive monopoly on printing money out of thin air. And they can just keep on giving it to a bunch of pencil-pushing parasites that can go and just ruin and destroy lives.
Absolutely true. Let's go to the phone. Jay, how can people get in touch with you if they have some whistleblowing they want to do?
Yes, contact me at jay@jaynoone.com. That is JAY@JAYNOONE.com.
It's Jay@jaynoone with an E.com. And out of time for tonight. We will continue this, I'm sure, Jay, at some point. We'll see you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, you can join us over at freetalklive.com. And don't forget our social media site at social.freetalklive.com.